This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
The TalkSport Fan Network is proud to be partnering with Lotto from the National Lottery. All right, listen up. Lotto is the original millionaire maker. With draws every Wednesday and Saturday, you could become the next Lotto millionaire. How good would it be if you were next to win the Lotto jackpot? You can get involved and play this Saturday, so don't forget to buy your ticket by 7:30 p.m. You never know. Will you be the next millionaire? Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Yo, UK! At BetMGM, we give our players sports betting entertainment like nobody's business. Football, horse racing, darts, boxing, tennis, golf, NFL, NBA. You name it, we got it. Offers? You know it. Bet £10 and get £40 in free bets. BetMGM, it's showtime.
New customers only. Exclusions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Hi and welcome everybody to a New Year's edition of the Away End. I'm Craig Courtney and I'm joined by Barry Worthington from the podcast for our Wigan fans of the Progress with Unity. I know, Barry, we've spoken in the past at the start of the season as Wigan visited St Andrews at Knighthead Park. Lots happened since then. We're now halfway through the season. We'll see how things are changing. But we go into the game on Saturday. And God, that sounds great to say. A Saturday game of football and not just at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. We've missed it. But it's off the back of Birmingham's 1-1 draw up at Stockport on New Year's Day. Very hard-fought game where, in all honesty, Stockport were the better team, especially in the second half of the game. Got on top of us and got their deserved equaliser. But for yourselves, slightly different. Unfortunately, due to the horrible weather that you experienced in Wigan and across the north, your game was postponed due to flooding in the local area. So you've had an extra few days rest. It's not fair. Shouldn't be allowed. But we go into the game off the back of the last 5 between ourselves, of which, from a Birmingham perspective, is not pleasant reading. It's actually only one win, and that was the game at the start of the season at Knighthead Park. But for yourselves, just one draw and 3 other wins. So fair to say our history with Wigan is favourable to yourselves. And across all of the games, we've actually played 28 games. Birmingham have only won 8 of those. We've had 10 drawn and 10 wins for yourselves. So decent return from a Wigan perspective. So going into the game, mentioned there we started the season with a game against yourselves. Fair to say a lot's happened since then. Birmingham absolutely riddled with injuries at the moment, some of which are long-term and you know, get well soon to Lee Buchanan after what was a horrendous injury over the festive break. But also there's obviously been changes afoot in terms of players and the incomings and outgoings now that the windows are open. So tell us how things have changed for Wigan since we spoke at the start of the season and we got our win. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, I was gutted that day because you were the better side in the first half, but I thought the second half we really came into it. And one of our problems this season is we've reshaped our team again. It's a consequence of administration and finances, and you've had it tough in the past, so you know all about that. And we was lacking consistency. As that game showed, because we were rubbish in the first half and we was quite good in the seconds, and that's been the story of our season. But obviously we used all our substitutions, and then Stephen Sessegnon got injured and had to go off. 1 apiece. We're down to 10 men for about the last 10 minutes or so. You sniffed blood and went for it, and then you got it in stoppage time. And I'm a lover of Wigan Athletic. I was going to say fan, but I'm a lover. So, in my opinion, we didn't deserve to take nothing from that game. So I was really gutted at the end of it. But that's sort of been the story of our season before we played you. And since, I mean, we've been on runs where we've not conceded a goal for 6 games, but we've not scored a goal either. I think I might have mentioned when we played you that I can't see us scoring.
Yep.
And luckily enough, Tello Asgard, it's a tame shot. And your goalkeeper, who was it? I don't think he's playing now, is he? Is it
No, it's Peacock Farrell that was in goal
That's
for
it.
those particular
Yeah.
ones. Now, yeah, Ryan Allsop's now in goal for Birmingham.
Yeah, so he made a bit of an error and it got us our equaliser. But yeah, so since then, I mean, the main thing that I can talk about the first half of the season is we went to Bolton and beat them again. Now that's regular. So we give Ian Everett's side a good spanking every year. It's 10 years now since they've beaten us, and since Everett's been manager of Bolton, I have to get this stat in. I apologise, but at their ground, which is called the Tough Sheet, you have to be careful how you say it. The Tough Sheet Stadium. It is 10-0 to Wigan Athletic. So
That's a nice little stat to carry around.
oh, it's lovely. It's lovely, and they absolutely hate us. So the feeling's mutual. Anyway, so we had that. That was a great result. We went to Rotherham, we beat them. We've been to Barnsley and beat them. So we seem to be quite good away from home. It's teams where the side are attacking us. We're very good at containing, keeping the ball, and then attacking with our speedy wingers. So when we play the bigger clubs or the teams being more successful, i.e. yourselves, hopefully, on Saturday, it was the same when we played Wycombe. Peterborough flying out when we played them. We did them 3-0 at home because he came at us. So if you come in at us, that's exactly what we want to see you doing. I think as the season's gone on, with that inconsistency, we've now starting to see a little bit of consistency. We're playing well for like 80 minutes of a game rather than 40 minutes. So we're stretching it. We're doing quite well in games now. We've got a settled front line, which we was chopping and changing that. So we've got Dale Taylor, who we have on loan from Nottingham Forest. He was in and out of the team with Joe Ugle, and we were playing him as lone strikers. Now, we're not doing that now. We've got him playing with Tello Asgard, who's in the number 10 role, but he's licensed to get up to the forward line, and they often swap. So you'll find Taylor dropping down to the 10 role, Asgard will lead the line, then they're both up at the top, then they're both in the 10s, and we're like playing with false nines. And it's quite good to watch tactically, and depending who we're playing and how we're going about the game, it's very interesting to see. So that is definitely something that's been worked on and starting to build as the season's gone. But you mentioned your injuries, though, with 3 central midfielders out now. We've got Matt Smith, who's like our Rolls Royce quarterback. He's out until March, we believe, with an hamstring injury. We brought a replacement in for him from Fulham in the summer because we thought we were going to lose Smith. He was going to move on to another club. So we brought this guy in from Fulham, Ty Francois, his name, and he's every bit as good as Matty Smith. But he's done his ankle ligament at Barnsley. And he's out until next season, so we've lost him. And then one of our academy graduates, Barbara Deco, who's been hit and miss, I will be perfectly honest with you, but for the last 4 or 5 games, he's been absolutely sensational. He scored his first goal for us. He's been playing 9 out of 10 in those 4 or 5 games. And then 30 minutes into the game away at Wrexham, just before New Year, he goes down holding his hamstring and he's off the pitch. And we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks with him. So 3 central midfielders all gone out of it. So we're a little bit, I'm not so struggling because we've got Scotty Smith, he's come through the academy. He's a Wigan lad. He plays with us out on his sleeve, season ticket holder.
Yep.
And Jensen Weir as well, who's been he came through our academy, then went off to Brighton and done a few rounds, and he's come back. So the suitable replacements, but we are a little bit of a struggle there. A player who's broke into the team since we played you is let me think of his name.
That's the challenge.
Is a player who's broke into the team since we played you is Toby Simic. He's coming at right back, and we actually signed him as a centre back, but we played him at a right back, and he's playing like this overlapping role. It's like a freight train running around the outside. Honestly, he's a sight to behold. So he's coming to the team and gives us a different dimension. We're still playing with wide men. We play with two wingers, usually left footer on the right footer on the left. And we brought a player in this week as well, a guy from Arsenal. We've signed him on a 3.5-year deal. He only turned 20 on the 20th of December, so I think we brought him in more perhaps to develop him and look for him to come through next season. But he's a right-sided defender or winger. So I think wing back is probably the proper term for him. But I've seen a few clips of him and he looks quite decent. And in the London press, they used to refer to him as the Wonder Kid. And he was in the Champions League squads at Paris. He went to Paris Saint-Germain and a couple of other places. So, we've got some hopes for him. And we've been strongly rumoured that we're bringing a striker in this week. It's all under wraps. Can't say who it is, but I do know, but hopefully, he's going to be signing time for Saturday. I think that's what they're probably doing, announcing tomorrow, and he could make his debut on Saturday, which would be a good signing for us, if I'm being honest. It's something that we're lacking up front, an experienced number 9. I've said Dale Taylor's been playing really well, but he's only 20. Telawasgar's only 22, so the kids. But this guy's in his late 20s, so hopefully it comes to fruition before Saturday.
And I mean, it's got to say, everybody talks about a window being open from the 1st of January, but I honestly don't know whether Birmingham will bring in players. I think that they will strengthen them. They do need to, really, to give some more opportunity for rest for some of the players. You talk about your midfield being light going into the weekend. Well, ours is knackered. It's as simple as that. We're seeing Williamson, not anywhere near as on form as what he has been, and the Paik and the Water they've just, I suppose, just foot off the pedal a little bit. But I can totally understand with the numbers of games and the fact as well that from a Birmingham perspective, we did have 2 days less rest than some of the other teams because of having to play Crawley on the Monday before Christmas. So it's all over the place. But at the end of the day, it's a squad game. So hopefully we'll see some rotation and maybe the introduction of Lukas Jukovic. He was on the bench against Stockport, didn't make the field, but I think, he will potentially get his start. And then, of course, your arch nemesis, I believe, in terms of strike force, but Alfie May is on form again at the moment, scoring a great goal against Stockport and being that general poacher that he is. And when we play him as the striker and we've got Stansfield out wide, we are a threat no matter what. And I think that's what I'm half expecting going into the game. You mentioned, obviously, the changes and the midfield being lighter. How's the defence faring now? Because I think it's fair to say when we played you at St Andrews at Knighthead Park, the defence looked pretty solid. And it was Scotty Wright's, 91st minute goal that ultimately got us the win and over the line on that game. So what's your defence like now? And obviously, I know there was a concern at one point around your goalkeeper that he was expressed in our last catch up. How have things changed? Is it just because it's become more stable and steady that the defence has settled down, or do you equally see that same type of risk in that area?
No, well, our keeper's absolutely brilliant. Sam Tittle, 21 years of age, England under-21 international, come through the ranks. He's destined to play at the very top. He's fabulous. Our 2 centre-backs, Aimson and Kerr. Jason Kerr's our skipper. We got Williamson from Exeter in the summer. I think we're about the 3rd or 4th lowest goals conceders in the division, so our defence is tight. Sam Tittle's about 2nd or 3rd on the list of clean sheets as well for a keeper. We do tend to keep the ball a lot if we can, and we play very narrow defensively, so we're compact at the back. We're good at the back. Yeah, it's just our problem's been at the other end, scoring the goals, turning the close games into victories rather than, or draws. Close games, victories or draws rather than draws or defeats, which have been what's coming. But I mean, with the prospects of bringing new players in, I'm hoping we're going to, be scoring more goals. I mean, something that I'd like to touch on. You talked about Alfie May being a nemesis. The other thing, Djukovic, ex-Bolton Wanderers. So
exactly, you can't forget him, can you really?
Don't like that at all. But when you're at the top of the table, sometimes bringing in fresh players at this stage freshens your squad up and gives you that little bit more impetus. I mean, you're in prime position to go up, Birmingham, without any doubt. And I think your biggest threat is Birmingham City. Yourselves, that's your biggest threat.
Imploding on ourselves.
Yo, UK! At BetMGM, we give our players sports betting entertainment like nobody's business. Football, horse racing, darts, boxing, tennis, golf, NFL, NBA. You name it, we got it. Offers? You know it. Bet £10 and get £40 in free bets. BetMGM, it's showtime.
New customers only. Exclusions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
The TalkSport Fan Network is proud to be partnering with Lotto from the National Lottery. Picture this, the perfect Saturday. You wake up, meet up with your mates, and watch your team score all the goals and secure those all-important 3 points. And then, just when you think it can't get better, bam, you become the next Lotto millionaire. Now that's a day you'd never forget. Lotto is the original millionaire maker. Will you be next? Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Yeah. So if you do make 2 or 3 not squad signings but first team signings that bring players in that you're looking at perhaps to play in the Championship next season, that'll give you that little bit of a push. Where we've not got the finances to do that, and obviously we're at that end of the table. That shows that as well. But defensively, nobody's pasted this season. Nobody. I don't think we've. Off the top of my head, I can't remember us getting beaten by more than a goal. It's all like 3-2 or 2-1, but it's not been 3-2. We've hardly conceded more than 2 goals in any games. But one thing we have done, we've scored a few own goals, and I don't want to go talk about that. We were 2-0 up at Blackpool, 2 own goals. We were 2-0 up against Shrewsbury, own goals again did us. So we've lost a few points like that. And I think sometimes our defenders, they play that scrambling defence type, what you hear. And by throwing the bodies in the line, in the way of efforts, they're taking deflections and it's going past the keeper that way. And that's where the own goals are coming from rather than blasting the ball into the back of their own net. They are deflections. I mean, even Sam Tickling goals has been credited with an own goal this season.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's hit the post, come back, hit the back of his head and gone in, one of them, as happens. But that was at Cambridge. So what I'm telling you there about, the bigger sides like yourselves, I mean, we struggled last season. We really struggled against Burton, Carlisle, Port Vale, Cheltenham. Awful. This season with Cambridge, yeah, they beat us. They beat us 3-0. I mean, we go there and get battered. Did not win a game or scored a goal. And they beat us 3-0. But that's just what we're like. But when we play the biggest sides like yourselves, we do really turn up. But I think the way you play, hopefully, will suit us at all.
I was going to say, I think it's, from what you'd said there, having teams that attack you plays into kind of your favour and in a way that the team is then set up. It's ultimately that challenge. And I think that's what you expect and what we've been getting from the Birmingham side, which is, we like a high press, front-footed team that aren't afraid to come forwards. They'll play out from the back, right? Jesus, as fans, we hate it because you're just waiting for that ultimate cock-up where you're passing to a striker rather than your own defender and things like that. And there are times when, we've held our breath and thought, oh, God, that was close. But then also there's the composure coming out of our defence at the moment, which is something that we've been lacking over many, many years. So it's making, I think, for a great game because we won't sit back. There's one thing I can say: we will not sit back and wait for things to happen. we like to make it happen on the front foot and by moving things forwards. And if you come up against a, fully flowing Iwata and Paik from a midfield perspective, I don't think there's any other team in the league that will touch them, because those guys are just workhorses and they run and run and run. I've not known players not have a break, or at least just to step away at some point in time to kind of recharge the batteries. We're not seeing that from these guys. And Williamson, on his day, again, he's unplayable. He has looked tired over the festive break. Does to me need a little bit of a rest, and hopefully that'll come after this weekend when we get back into a midweek game, Saturday game, midweek game, Saturday game. Something that I think every fan is probably crying out for. So in the past and on the away end, I've challenged you with coming up with 5 players that have represented both clubs. But as we're now turning the season and beginning to play each other for the second time, I'm introducing a new challenge, and that's around goal scorers. So I am just wondering, there are 5 players that are, should we say, top of the shop from goal scoring perspective from the games where we've played each other. So from a Birmingham perspective, we have a striker and we have an attacking midfielder. The striker being Clayton Donaldson, who's top of the shop with 3 goals in the games between us.
Former Bolton player as well.
Indeed. They
keep popping up.
You see, it's that nemesis, it's there. And from midfield, it's Olivia Capo, who, was at the club, didn't really have too much of an opportunity whilst he was at Birmingham, and we didn't see his true potential. But he was there as well with 2 goals. So what I'm wondering is, can you name the 3 players from Wigan that appear in the top 5 from a goal scoring position? And I'll give you their positions to help out. So one of them is a right winger, one of them is a right back, and one of them is a centre forward. And between them, they've scored a total of 7 goals in the games across the Birmingham versus Wigan.
Right. Olivia Capo played for us as well. He scored 1 goal. That was against Chelsea. He was awful.
I always remember his screamer against Chelsea, funnily enough, for Birmingham.
Well, did he score against Chelsea for you as well?
He did indeed, and it was a quality goal not long after he signed, and everybody was just like, sharp take a breath, my God, this is a player. And that was the last that we really saw of him.
You can tell I'm playing for time here, can't you? So, right winger, if I'm digging for clues, are they Premier League players? Is that what I'm looking at? Is it from our time in the Premier League? Because we played each other 8 times in the Premier League, didn't we, home and away? And 12 times in the Championship.
2 of them would have been. I'm not too sure on the third. And I say the third, it's actually the one that scored the most goals. But the other 2, I definitely remember from Premier League days.
Yeah, I remember, but he was a left back. I remember Maynard Figueroa scoring a really late goal against Birmingham City. But but I also remember Emerson Boyce scoring.
And there it is, that's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van, unstoppable.
Just fantastic. You can actually see the Pro Pilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit your local all-star van centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
And he scored against Villa too, Boyce. He liked to score because he started his career as a striker. So
it's neither of them. I'll put you out your misery. It's neither of them.
Right. Well, I wasn't going to go for either. Well, for the right winger, I would probably say, but I can't remember if we played you when we had him. This is the only thing. But he scored a lot of goals for us. Antonio Valencia. He did score a lot of goals. But we sold him to United in 2010.
You did, and it's not Valencia.
Oh, my goodness, I'm struggling here, aren't I? So,
you will kick yourself when you go, definitely the centre forward. You will absolutely kick yourself.
Well, I mean, if we're thinking like quality ones down, I mean, we had Eske, who we got from yourselves, but I'd have said somebody like probably Hugo Rodallega, who could have been a striker that.
And it's not there, mate.
Oh, my goodness. So, right backs, I mean, Ryan Taylor used to take free kicks for us.
Ryan Taylor is your right back, and he did score 2 goals against Birmingham. So Ryan Taylor is one of them.
So I've got one. And it was striker, centre forward. Andy Liddle. Did Andy Liddle score a lot of goals against you?
No, it's not Andy Liddle.
No. No, I'm thinking back to Nathan Ellingson.
No.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it can't be Jason
Really
Robert.
challenging you here.
You are. I'll end up naming all our strikers if you carry on. It's not Jeff Horsfield, no. He didn't play. He only played about half a dozen games for us. I
Jeff would never score against us. You know,
I know. Well, he used us as a go-between between yourselves and West Brom. If you
correct.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a joke. Do you know, I don't want to go through because I feel like a cheat if I get it going through. So I'm pleased with Ryan Taylor. I would have worked Ryan Taylor out. But the other two, one's a right winger and one's a centre forward.
Yeah, right winger got the 3 goals. Your centre forward only got 2.
Right. Did the right winger play for yourselves?
No.
Oh, so it's not Jason Kumas then?
Yep.
Mind you, he was always in the bookies anyway, Jason Kumas. He wants to score. I'm struggling.
I'll put you out in misery. Your striker, Marcus Bent, he actually got 2 goals.
Right. Okay.
And your right winger, Callum McManaman.
Oh, Cal Mack. Why? I'm gutted. He's still with us. He's playing. He's back. He's been with the club 3 times on 3 separate occasions. Cal Mack.
Yeah.
Oh,
so he scored, and he was the one that's got the 3 goals.
Cal Mack. That's a brilliant question, that, Craig. Brilliant. Cal Mack. Oh, I didn't know that. I wouldn't have got that. I would definitely wouldn't have got Darren Bent. I wouldn't have got him.
So we go into the weekend. And fingers crossed and weather permitting, we'll be playing each other, like I say, 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, which is unusual to say at this time of year.
Yeah.
What does your head say the result will be, and what does your heart say?
Oh, gosh. We're not very, I must say we're not very good at home. We don't get good results at home. But it's got to change, hasn't it? It's got to change. If I go with my head, I'd probably go for a draw, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just afraid of Alfie May, which is he just scores against us. He scores against everybody, doesn't he? But if we can keep him quiet, which I hope we will do, I'll go for a 1-0 home win. That's what I'm going for. Head and heart.
And so, I mean, from a Birmingham perspective, I've got to say, I say it each time, there's no easy game in this league. We always tend to play well, but not get a result when we play against you guys, especially up at the start Wigan. So I'm going to go with, funnily enough, the same result as you. I think it'll be a hard-fought 1-0. You'll be pleased to know I don't think it'll be Alfie May that will score. I think Stansfield will do us a favour and get us that winning goal. And, you know, it's going to be tough anyhow, because no matter what, if you come up against the wet and windy or the snowy weather, it makes no difference. It makes for a totally different game. And that's the thing. It's a leveller, no matter who is playing. And we saw that on New Year's Day against Stockport. We've seen that at St Andrews at Knighthead Park against Blackpool. The weather is definitely a leveller. So I'm hoping to get more than 1 goal, but I think my head and my heart says we'll get hard for 1-0. and take us back to the top of the shop where, I'm fed up of seeing Wickham every so often scraping these 94th minute, winners as they've done again on New Year's Day. I want to see them stop doing that, and I want to get to the top, get that game in hand over and played, and hopefully take us forwards that little bit more. So thank you very much again, Barry, for joining us on the away end. As always, really insightful into what's happening and what to expect as we go into the game. It's been a really good catch-up. Again, thank you for joining us on the away end in association with AMG Logistics. And we look forward to a good game on Saturday. I hope the rest of the season goes well for you, that you're not fighting any sort of relegation battles, and that you can stabilise your team after all of the hassle that you've been through. And I wish you all the very best after Saturday. So thank you very much again for joining us. And we shall speak soon. And here's to a great game on Saturday afternoon.
Cheers, Craig. Thank you very much for inviting me. I hope you're awful on Saturday, and we'll give you a good season too. And the rest of the season, you can do what you want. I've no doubt you'll go in up as champion. So, yeah.
Wicked. Cheers. Thank you very much. And keep right on.
The TalkSport Fan Network is proud to be partnering with Lotto from the National Lottery. As all of our favourite players hit the field again, Lotto's ready to get you back in the game. You never know when it could be your turn to win, so why not play today and see if you could become the next Lotto millionaire? You never know when it's your day to win, and Lotto is a game that anyone could win. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
At BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. So we don't just do offers, we do golden offers like this.
MGM Millions, our supersized jackpot where right now you could win over £21 million.
Get ready for the golden era in online casino. BetMGM, it's showtime.
Minimum 10p game stake. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.